diving into definite chief aim. Definite chief aim. And sound is garbled. Anyone else? I'm telling you, something is squirrely. No, seems okay. Testing 1, 2. It looks like it's okay. Okay. All right, here we go. Definite chief aim. I'm just looking at my notes before I start. Okay, talks about auto-suggestion, subconscious mind. Okay, here we go. Let me scoot this over here a little bit. La, 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 like it's an opera. The keynote of this entire lesson may be found in the word definite. Game over. Interesting noises behind me. The keynote of this entire lesson may be found in the word definite. It is most appalling to know that 95% of the people of the world are drifting aimlessly through life without the slightest conception of the work for which they are best fitted, and with no conception whatsoever of even the need of such a thing as a definite objective toward which to strive. Some feedback on that, some thoughts on that. Would you say it's true? So if that's true, then you got to ask yourself, if you're have a goal, you're in the top 5%. You wonder, I wonder where I stand in ranking. Well, you're in the top 5%. If you put your definite chief aim to work and you use it daily. There is a psychological as well as an economic reason for the selection of a definite chief aim in life. There is a psychological. So Bob Proctor talks about a psychic income and a monetary income. And sometimes when we get into network marketing, we're trying to fill our psychic income because it's a place where we can go and people love us and they tell us they like us and they tell us how nice we are. And we're like, oh, I just love it. It makes me feel so good, but you're broke. Yeah, but I feel so good, but you're broke. Yeah, but I feel so good, but you're broke. No, I'm not doing it for the money. You lie about that. You lie about other things. There is a psychological as well as an economic reason for the selection of a definite chief aim. Let us devote our attention to the psychological side of the question first. It is a well-established principle of psychology that a person's acts are always in harmony with the dominating thoughts of his or her mind. I bought a weight loss product, but I got a cheat day and I can eat 17 pounds of ice cream. Any definite chief aim that is deliberately fixed in the mind and held there with the determination to realize it finally saturates the entire subconscious mind until it automatically influences the physical action of the body toward the attainment of that purpose. Where have we heard something like that before? There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, which permeates and penetrates and fills the inner spaces of the universe. A thought held in that substance, the ether, will produce the thing held by the thought. Any definite chief aim that is deliberately fixed in the mind and held there with the determination to realize it. Somebody explain that to me. Somebody tell me what that means. What does it mean? Deliberately fixed, held there, and the determination to realize it. What does it mean to be determined to realize it? This is like the secret grail of the hieroglyphics that get translated. When you get this, if you don't already have it, it's significant. We may not get past this paragraph.
Well, it's being
Yeah.
focused. It's being willing to do whatever it takes to make it happen.
So what state of mind do we have to be in to be in a state of whatever it takes? Why aren't we in that state more often? Two questions, maybe two different trains, two different tracks of thought. But if it's to do whatever it takes, then why do we get out of the do whatever it takes? Why do we have to get back into the do whatever it takes? Where do we go when we leave the do whatever it takes?
I
And
think
this
we
can
go
be
to
a
where it's
dialogue
comfortable.
between, go ahead, say again.
Well, I started to say it's you go back to started to say comfortable, but it's not comfortable. It's familiarity.
Right. So why do we go back to the familiar pain when
'Cause
what
it's
we know we're
what we
working for is
know.
supposed to be better? Would you say we don't? What
No. Addiction to approval.
could be? Who do we need to get permission from to do whatever it takes? Isn't that a burn the boats kind of moment?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are rare moments. Yet we've always heard the stories of where the guy burned the boats and they were outnumbered 10-1 and they came back champions. We're either going to hold our shields up high or be carried back on our shields. What is it? Why is it such a dilemma? Why is it such a conundrum for us to get into the do whatever it takes? I'm serious. I'm just asking us all. I'm not trying to go ahead, Wheezy.
Well, I think that it I think that it equates to belief. It's there. It's already there. Believing that it's already there. That we need it takes whatever it takes. I'm right now. The lines are really blurry. What were the things about thinking the that I'm sorry, I can't even see the words.
So
But
imagine this. Imagine this. So as you were speaking, this hit me. Is there belief that it's there? Because if we say we'll do whatever it takes, means we'll do any strategy because we have no idea. Because if we knew how to get there, we'd get there. We know it exists. I hear that. We know it
no,
exists. We
yeah,
believe it exists.
we well, yeah. I mean, in doesn't it take belief? There's one thing to believe that it exists, and it's quite another to act it out.
Do you realize belief disappears when you know?
Oh no, I didn't realize that.
When you know, listen, you know I love you. At one point, you believed I love you. But I think you now know. And if you don't know, then it's back to belief. But once you know, belief is gone.
So belief is associated with hope.
Right. And too many people hope their way through life.
Now, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
The kids you were with, I hope life gets better. The weekend you were with them, life got better.
Oh,
There
life,
was no hoping.
right.
You didn't know what you were going to expect. You do whatever it takes. Once you start, I hope this is a good weekend. As soon as you got into it, the hope left. You knew it was going to be a good. You had no idea what to know more of, but you knew it was going to be a good weekend. God, I'm getting the chills. Is
So
this? Go
so
ahead. This is
okay,
key. This is so key.
I have to find these words. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute and focus on this very small font.
Not my problem.
I know.
You know, if you hold it closer, you might see it.
Something that occurred to me is that I know in the past, sometimes we keep telling ourselves that, Like it's like we have to talk ourselves into the belief, and that doesn't
Yep.
work.
Well,
Like
we stop too soon.
right. Like you
We're
just
talking ourselves into
yeah.
belief. Listen, we gotta get ourselves pumped up, and it takes words. The challenge is do we believe the words? We don't even believe the
Right.
words that we're saying. It would
Right.
work if we believed it. And then
And
once
then
we
you'd say
believed it, we knew
it
it.
would disappear, right?
Yep. We
That
deal in
that
such,
concept just threw me for a loop. That when you get to the point of belief,
and then you got to get to the
it's
point of
just
knowing.
second nature, or it's gone. You
Well,
don't need it anymore.
Yeah, no. Listen, when you got a new, say you got a new cell phone number,
Mhm.
you'd have to look at it and you're like, man, somebody said, what's your number? I just got a new one. Let me look it up. And then
I
there's a
don't call
moment where you
myself.
then there's a number where you use the number and you say, I believe that's it. Yeah, that's it. No, I'm sure that's it. Then there's no more belief. This is why our stories that we tell ourselves, we so believe that we're not good enough, that I'm codependent. We give all of these labels. My mother was an alcoholic. I'm not codependent. That's a label some psychologist gave me. So then when I get the label, I get, oh, I can suffer through life. I didn't know I would, till somebody told me you're codependent. You should go to an Al-Anon meeting. Okay, to do what? Am I screwed up? Well, no, you need it for support. Says who? I went to one. It was the most horrific thing I'd ever been to for me. I'm me. See, because I went after I was 14. Maybe if I went before I was 14, because at 14, I decided I will never have another bad day. I had a bad day at Al-Anon. Now, for the rest of the people, it served them well. It was an awesome thing. They needed that support. I had made a decision long ago that I wasn't going to have a bad day. My mother finally got sober when I was in my late 20s. So I'm saying that they gave me a time. Oh, well, so are you a codependent? I'm like, I don't know what that is.
Still don't.
Right. So my point is that this idea that when we finally make a decision, I probably have had 2 Cokes, 3 Cokes since Mark said, you should stop doing that. Okay. He called me out. He put me out in the shooting range and he said, you're an idiot if you do that again. Great. I haven't done it again. Used to drink Diet Cokes 3 or 4 a day because they were diet. I thought I was doing good, right? All of that story. My point is that any definite chief aim that is deliberately fixed. What does it mean to deliberately fix your focus? And a determination to realize,
right?
Yeah, so let me ask you this. Paul, I need you to help me move. God, I would love to. I've got some things I'm working on for myself and I would love to help. I hope you don't think I'm a horse's patoot. I hope you don't think I'm the southbound end of a northbound horse, because I just can't. Not on that day. You've got to determine when you say yes and when you say no.
Boundaries.
And the key is, ladies and gentlemen, we are addicts. We are addicts. I'm not saying we're addicts to anything other than we're an addict. Period. End of story. Dopamine. Why do you think these scrolling is 6 seconds, 10 seconds? Goldfish has a longer attention span than us. When's the last time you sat down and really spent an hour on your goal? Not in writing, not in doing, not in debating, just dreaming. I'll sometimes sit on the porch. I was listening to, what was I listening to on Gaia today? What the Bleep? What the Bleep? I was listening to What the Bleep, and I would close my eyes and I would just listen to the words. How many times have you closed your eyes and imagery started to take place behind your eyelids? Did you ever do that? You close your eyes and all of a sudden you see in complete clarity, all things happening behind your eyelids. You see people moving and things happening. Do y'all ever have that happen? This is yes, this is no. Let me know. I want to see. Okay, yes.
Mhm.
Okay, good. Because that's when you start to visualize. You can do it open eyes. I'll do it. And what I thought was interesting today, when I closed my eyes, there was one spot where I would turn my head that this rose-colored spotlight would shine. And I opened my eyes one time thinking, is that the TV? No, it wasn't. I knew it wasn't at the line of the TV. But there was this just normally it would move with me, but it was deliberately in that spot. So I don't know what that was. I'll figure that out tomorrow. But what do you think it means to deliberately determination to realize it? It finally saturates the subconscious. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where we struggle. I will tell you flat out, the reason you're stuck where you are is you haven't saturated the subconscious. Your subconscious is running you. It's running how you wake up in the morning. It's running how you go to the bathroom. It's running how you brush your teeth, unless you're doing things with your body differently. You have to take control of this thing called the body. And when you take control of this, your subconscious starts to wake up and pay attention. It is so critical that when you do anything habitual, you force yourself to do it differently. I don't care if it's sitting down at your office chair, you do a 360 before you sit down. And anytime you go, well, that would be stupid, that's exactly how much control your subconscious has over you. To be determined to realize, you have to break your subconscious. You have to break into your subconscious. Joseph Campbell, answer the call, refusal of the call. When you say, oh, well, that'd be stupid, that's refusal of the call. And you go back to square one. You go back to jail on Monopoly board. Skip, go right directly to jail. Don't collect $200. Well, it can't be that. I mean, it can't be that. It's exactly that. It doesn't hurt to go back to jail, AKA your comfort zone. Finally saturates the entire. How big is your subconscious? How many of you remember the story of how I describe the subconscious? Who can tell me how you describe the subconscious size-wise? If the conscious mind is a ping pong ball, how big is the subconscious?
The size of a football stadium.
The size of a football stadium. So how hard is it to saturate your conscious mind? How hard is it to saturate your subconscious mind? This, ladies and gentlemen, this is such the secret. I don't know how else. I'm going to become so animated that you get a chance to realize that in saturating your subconscious, it takes consistent thought. Emerson said the idea of sustained thought is the most difficult thing for man to maintain. Sustained thought. Honestly, follow me on this. Do you guys know? I know you love this and you're here. The reason you're here on a Wednesday night to give me your time. How many of you, listen, I need you to answer honestly. How many of you have had a thought other than what we're talking about today? How many of you have thought of somebody else, something you got to do? Drop a 1 in the chat. I don't care what it is, but something else drew your attention away already. And do you realize you're the one doing all of the hard work? Come on, you're the one doing all the hard work and you're going to go talk to somebody and you think they're going to be focused on you? I got clues for you. They could be on their deathbed and they're still going to get distracted. Heather and Amber meet people all the time who are they're on the sidewalk to death's door. They don't come when they're happy and healthy and saying, listen, I want to stay here. They get so beat up and shackled and put into prison that they finally show up because they've tried everything else. Do you know what network marketing is? I've tried everything else. And then they come across us. They come across us who say, it's easy, it's simple, it's no problem. You should be able to do this. This would be so good for you. And they believe that. But the second they leave your side, they do not have deliberately fixed in their mind, held with determination to realize success. And there's not a snowball's chance in Haiti that this stuff saturates their subconscious mind. Now you know why 90% of the people struggle in this profession. It's discipline, it's determination, it's gratitude. You order a cup of coffee, you order your meal, you order your steak dinner, you order your lobster dinner, you order your salad, your salmon, whatever. And when the waiter leaves, they say thank you. You say thank you. How many of you are struggling for the rest of the meal before the meal shows up? I wonder if I ordered it right. Did they hear me right? I wonder what temperature they're going to cook it at. I wonder if it's going to be okay. No, you go about your business. Your definite chief aim allows you to go about your business. The challenge is we don't go about our business. We keep talking about what we don't want. You hear me every morning adjust people's vocabulary. Every morning, adjust people's vocabulary. This is Wallace D. Wattles. It ain't about doing certain things. It's about doing things in a certain way. Well, why are you so picky about wanting? Or why are you so picky about the word like? Or why are you so picky about? Because if you knew what I knew, you wouldn't use those words. How many of you have ever, in a recipe, read the amount wrong? It said teaspoon, you said tablespoon. It said half a cup, and you did a cup. And you're like, I just messed up the recipe. You know what I'm talking about? Nod your head. This means yes. This means no. It is so critical. What we're talking about vibration. And if you know anything about hertz, the frequencies, there's 454 and 455 and 456. You know about radio stations, 101.1, 101.3, 101.5. Well, it's not 101. You know your favorite radio station is 103.5 or whatever the number is. Why don't you listen to 103.3? Because I couldn't hear it. Do you realize why the universe can't hear what you're asking? Because you don't have your definite chief aim. Not clear. Not sort of kind of want $100,000 by the end of the year. And maybe you know exactly how much you want, but you're not holding it with determination to realize it because you don't believe it. No, I believe it. Only at 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock. It takes such an unbelievable decision to rewire our capabilities and our capacities. To saturate the subconscious, how long would it take for you to sit in every seat in the largest football stadium you could think of? You got to sit in every seat. And if you're determined to sit in every seat consistently with the love and the honor and the joy of looking at your goal on the field with awe and inspired, you got a couple of days, a couple of weeks. How long do you hold your dreams in place? You might be able to hold your dreams rock solid in place. Let me ask you, who's the one that kicks the legs out from under you? Oh, you're doing that thing again? How's that going for you? You've been doing it for 5 minutes. You've been doing it for 5 years. You've been doing it for 5 decades. How's it working for you? Y'all okay? I know I'm running shotgun over you. Anybody need a Band-Aid? Anybody need a little a little violin? World's smallest violin playing. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am sorry. I'm not sorry, but I am sorry. I don't want you to feel neglected or feel like I'm beating you up. I think if you're going to get ruffled feathers, it wouldn't be a bad thing to have it happen from me. Your definite chief aim in life should be selected with deliberate care, and after it has been selected, it should be written out and placed where you will see it at least once a day. And the psychological effect of which is to impress this purpose upon your subconscious mind so strongly that accepts the purpose as a pattern or a blueprint that will eventually dominate your activities in life and lead you step-by-step strategy toward the attainment of the object back of that purpose. Purpose is state. When you have the purpose, you will come up with a story that will reveal a strategy, the step-by-step. The challenge is if you're doing step-by-steps that you know, there's not a snowball's chance in Hades you are on your purpose. Not the purpose you dream of, not the purpose you go to sleep writing about, not the purpose that you do gratitude for. If you know the step-by-step that you're about to go do, you're not advancing. You're putting lipstick on the pig called your old story. Well, that's better. Is it better? Is it more painless? The principle of psychology through which you can impress your definite chief aim upon your subconscious is called, somebody say it, somebody shout it out. What's it say?
Autosuggestion.
Autosuggestion. Or a suggestion which you repeatedly make to yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, what I love about this book is that almost every page to me has a nugget of absolute platinum, unobtainium. If you know Avatar, that's the chemical, the mining thing that was just unbelievably valuable. There is a nugget on every page called unobtainium. You could not obtain your goals unless you read that there, heard that there, saw that there, understood that sentence. This is one of them. The principle of psychology through which, here's a golden rule. This is a rule. This is an absolute 100% rule. The principle of psychology through which you can impress your definite chief aim upon your subconscious, aka to saturate it. The subconscious mind is called autosuggestion, or the suggestion which you repeatedly make to yourself. Do you realize this is the aha, this is the awareness, this is the holy crapperoni. Where you're currently at is based upon your autosuggestion. Your weight, your wealth, your relationships. It can't be anything else. It is nothing else other than your autosuggestion. You got a great relationship? Congratulations, it's your autosuggestion. You got a crappy relationship? Congratulations, it's your autosuggestion. You got no relationship? Congratulations, it's your autosuggestion. You got wealth? You don't have wealth? You got bills? You don't have bills? It's your autosuggestion. It is. 80% of the population spend 95% of their time talking about finances. Those are huge numbers. It is a degree of self-hypnotism But do not be afraid of it on that account, for it was this same principle through the aid which Napoleon lifted himself from the lonely station of a poverty-stricken Corsican to the dictator of France. It was through the aid of the same principle that Thomas A. Edison has risen from the lowly beginning of a news butcher to where he is accepted as the leading inventor of the world. You know why it's so valuable to read biographies? Because you realize just how fascinating most of these people who are now household names, how challenging their lives were. It was through the aid of the same principle that Lincoln bridged the mighty chasm between his lowly birth in a log cabin in the mountains of Kentucky and the presidency of the greatest nation on earth. It was through this aid, the same principle, that Theodore Roosevelt became one of the most aggressive leaders that ever reached the presidency of the United States. I'm going to pause there because there is just unbelievable value in some of the things we talked about so far. Thoughts, comments, questions? What ahas? What's spinning in your gut? What's getting you mad right now? Some of you might be mad right now. And you haven't hung up yet because you're like, I just don't want to leave because I know this is good, but this is just ticking me off to no end.
I'm just trying to figure out how to saturate my subconscious mind.
So repetitively, let yourself see it. Let yourself hear it. Tell me what you want in a NEST program. Tell me the thing. Listen, I know you guys are aware of some of the good things that I do. A lot of good things that I do. Let me customize something for you. I want you to be the AKA guinea pigs, but you're not the guinea pigs. I've done this hundreds of times. Tell me what it is you want. Let me put a program. Let me put some self-talk together for you. I know you listen to Shad's stuff. I was talking to him the other day. I said, we've got to upgrade what we're doing in self-talk. And I don't know who's running the show over there. I said, but I'm not getting any feedback. So he responded to me, and I don't know, but I would love to step into Shad's shoes, but it's going to have to be in advance. It's going to have to be brain talk, not self-talk. But tell me the things you want. You've got me as a resource. Don't be afraid to use it. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Well, I'm working on putting my program together and looking at a package and what it entails, and I'm looking at two
Have you
groups.
covied it? And what I mean by covied it, started with the end in mind. When they finish the program, what's the next program they want from you?
And that's what I was looking at today, because it's two program, the one-on-one program, and then have a group thing that I have twice a month.
Okay.
And then at the end of it, and if it meets their needs at that time, that's fine, but to keep the newsletter going so they know they can come back at any time, because things happen in life.
So there's a chance it won't meet their needs? This is question number 2, permission to make you feel uncomfortable.
Well, no, I'm just thinking if,
Diane, you are going to meet their needs in spades. Say it. I'm going to meet their needs. So they're going to want more from me. Don't even throw out if it meets their needs.
I see. Okay.
Who are you, Sweeney?
I'm thinking from a different, okay.
Yes, you are. I need you to own this stuff.
Yes.
When I meet their needs, they are going to beg for another program. It sounds ego when we hear those people say that, like, what a jackass. No, They are absolutely certain about their capabilities and capacities.
Well, that's what I was thinking today. I was saying I want to keep them engaged even after, like, say you do a 6-month thing with them or something. But
So hang on. You want to keep them. Change it.
okay,
They want to keep me engaged in their next level. What do they want from me?
okay.
So you're asking in the universe, listen, do y'all hear the subtle shift of the language? I want them to, I want to be of value to them. No. You are so much value to them. You have to figure out how do I deliver them phase 2? Diane, you are so valuable. You know this. You're beginning to know this when the Minister of Health calls you and doctors call you and say, could you be in our mastermind? You're like, this is a little weird, but I'm good. And then you say things like, well, did you know if you said it this way? And they're like, oh my God, that's brilliant. You are brilliant. Say you're brilliant. Say I'm brilliant.
I'm brilliant.
Yeah, look at the smile. I almost believe it. I'm brilliant. You are. People will be blessed to be in your centers.
Mhm.
And now you have to find your tribe, and your tribe is going to be people you've never met.
Mhm.
And they're not going to come from any place you ever thought. They're literally going to be introduced to you.
Okay.
So when you go to create your content, go create your content. Don't worry about the audience. Well, but if I say that to Sally, she's going to get a little offended. Sally needs to be offended. You don't need to worry about it.
Hmm. I hear
Right?
you.
It feels different, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it does. And you're okay. And it should feel different. You are that valuable. You understand was it neonatal care? What was it that you were a nurse in?
No, neonatal? Yeah.
Yeah. You dealt with babies and premature babies, and you're dealing with everybody who's on your list is a premature baby. Think about that. They don't even know they got born too early into goal setting.
Mhm.
Right? How many people have come to you in network? Oh my God, I want to be healthy. I want to have this. I want to feel great. I want to be, oh my God. And they're neonatal. And you're like, you need to learn to breathe. Like, oh my God, I'm so glad you're here. But we think they're adults when they join us in our profession, in our business model. If Vince Lombardi, I don't know if he's still the winningest coach in football, but boy, he had some of the toughest hombres on the planet on his team, would start every year going, this is a football. And he always did the basics. He did the neonatal care for football professionals.
Mhm.
Just think about your people saying, hey, listen, and you get to say this. I was a nurse for a couple of handfuls of years, a couple of decades in emergency room and neonatal. And I dealt with things that needed absolute attention to survive. And why I believe I'm tremendous value to anybody who wants to have a new dream is that sometimes your dreams they're premature. When people say, I want to create $1 million, that's a neonatal dream. You are putting the cart way before the horse. Why don't we get you to 10,000 a month, and then 20, and then 30, and then 50?
Mhm.
Imagine what you do for neonatal, because they can't talk. You have to operate based upon statistics and stats and readings and charts, which is why you get to be the taskmaster when somebody comes to you and say, okay, here's what you need to do to survive. Did you write out your gratitude today? Did you talk to one person today? Did you invite one person to your list? All of those things that you would do. Imagine if they were all preemies.
Mhm.
And you get to speak from that existence, and you can translate everything that you did. Have you ever heard when premature babies are born, sometimes I know this from a friend. I don't remember if I'm saying it correctly, but they had to freeze the eyes so they wouldn't be crossed.
Tape them down. Yeah.
Right. So what, how would you translate that into the business model? I need you to freeze your focus on me. Right. There's all of these translations that you have that are available to you, that you understand what it's like to save somebody's life. Even the mom can't help when they got them hooked up to, some moms you ever hear the story? How long what's the longest you ever heard a mom couldn't touch her baby because it was all in the intensive care and everything else? I've heard 6 months.
Yeah, they can touch them, but they couldn't hold them.
Yeah,
they couldn't keep them. Yeah.
So how many people can touch your dreams, but they can't hold them, and they need you to help them hold them?
Okay, I have to go back to drawing board now.
Right? Well, because you get to speak from your levels of experience. You don't need to make anything up. You've lived the most amazing life of helping people live their dreams, get to their dreams. You can touch them, but listen, you can't hold them because we've got to do some basic fundamental things to keep it alive. And you get to use your 30 years of experience as a neonatal, as an emergency room, as life-threatening as when the blue code goes off, or whatever the code was in Canada, that when they rushed into the room to save a life.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever hesitate. Don't ever hesitate using your 30 years of experience. You've got 30 years there and 30 years of network marketing. You got 60 years experience and you haven't even blinked an eye yet.
Well, it's 42 in nursing. But...
Well, yeah. Okay. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you talk to people, say, listen, the only thing I can do is read your charts. So you got to tell me, listen, I got to put on your chart. I can only put on the charts what the system reads. So how many calls did you make today? Your charts look kind of blank. I don't know how to treat you now. Use what you know, use the language you know, and convert it. You hear me talk all the time about the farm. You hear me talk all the time about the sheep. Yes, it's funny, but I'm teaching you a lesson because they're teaching me a lesson. I tell you about the ANMP. It's not because I get to tell you about the ANMP. It's a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about 30 plus countries. It's because it's a lesson, not to brag. It's what I know how to help. You got 42 years of experience of keeping things alive. Why wouldn't you use that to keep a dream alive? You tell me the procedure you do, I'll convert it. I speak conversion of neonatal care technology. No, I don't, but you know what I do.
You make it more real that way.
It's easier. It's easier that way because once we talk, listen, if I had to, could you imagine if I had to talk about neonatal care? Listen, as a non-neonatal care specialist for 42 years, let me tell you what I don't know that we did in that. That's what it would sound like. I don't know what we did, but here's what I think we did. They would hook you up to things. What things? What are the things we got to measure? Well, EEG, EKG, depending upon the baby. We would give them oxygen, right? They're sprawled out because we got more stuff stuck in their veins.
Yeah.
Did you ever feed babies different food based upon their weight?
Yep.
Did you ever feed somebody different intelligence based upon their dreams? How heavy are their dreams? All of these dreams come to you. They're feathers. Somebody wants to get to their next rank. It is a feather until it gets mass. It is a neonatal care emergency room. And if they really need it, you know, when people call me, when there's absolutely no mass to their moment. When the stuff is hit the fan and there's literally nothing left in their dream. My goal is to give it gravity, is to remind them, is to give it life, is to get a heartbeat going. We get a heartbeat going, we can work with that. We get breathing going. The breathing, if I can get you to beat your heart on your own, we can deal with that. We can strengthen it. We can do calisthenics. We can do the moving when they're in a coma, and we do the stuff that we do to bodies to keep them from atrophying. The challenge is that most people's dreams don't have enough weight, enough mass, and they atrophy and they die on the vine. And then we come along going, you should be in business with me. We're talking about infants. And we want to treat them as grown ass adults. We give them way too much credit in our profession. And they think they know what they know. Great. Tell me how that works. Let me know how that works for you. I'll be here next Tuesday. Would you learn? Would you like? That's the best answer. I love those answers.
The thing that struck me is the thing you said that the only thing I can read is your chart, because that tells you how you did today, right?
Diane, that is, I mean, doesn't it feel good?
Yeah.
I mean, you get to use that in every setting. Listen, I'm sorry, I've got to use some of the words, some of the things that are good for me. I spent 42 years helping moms go home with their babies. Isn't that what you did?
Well, I worked in different settings.
Right.
Yeah, the last 28 years I worked in the community.
Oh, well, so yeah, you got, you know, the hang of that.
Palliative care, and I did death and dying at the end. So I went from, the neonatals and psych and teaching, and so I did everything I wanted to do in my nursing career.
So do you want to hear a elevator pitch?
Okay. I got my pen ready.
Hey, everybody. My name is Diane Sweeney. I've helped everybody in life in 42 years of a profession that I loved. I've helped people go home with their babies, and I help people die with dignity. You've just got to decide, which do you want? Do you want to go home with your dreams, or are you going to let them die with dignity? Either way, I can help you. I'd prefer the first 40 years of my life, 40 years of my career. Let's go home with the baby. Let's go home with the dreams. But if you're not ready to take on your dreams, let me know. I can help you die with dignity. That's called polarization.
Mm-hmm.
That's called flat out poop or get off the pot. And that's memorable.
I have to go back and listen to this.
Yep. I've spent my career helping moms go home with their dreams, their most precious gift of life, through the neonatal care unit. And there was a part of my career where I helped people die with dignity. I don't know where you are in your goal setting career. I sure hope it's not the last part. But if you want to go home with your dreams, we should go do that.
Thank you.
And you can say that with such confidence, can't you?
Yeah.
You can say it with more confidence than the confidence it sounds like it's coming out of my cake hole. I just am so confident in you that I know I can say it as good as you, not better, but I can say it with as much confidence as you have, because you don't even have to think about it.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, it feels, it feels good to me to
Feels-
say it.
No, it does feel good. And I've been, batting around so many different things. And this feels good. So thank you.
It's when we speak our truth.
Mhm.
Well, I say, listen, farm boy from Ohio and 0.9 grade point average. I say that I say it so it lends credibility to that. This guy's an idiot, and look how good he's done. Okay, great. But it also lends that I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth.
Mhm.
My energy, my vitality, my life, my experience, my joy in life. People say you had to have the greatest childhood ever. I did. Why would I argue with them?
Mhm.
I did. It got me here.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. So I did all that work today and you just did it in a little.
That's what I'm here for. Call me, text me.
Okay.
I'm here about shortening time.
Yes. Yes. And time is commodity. I know that.
I love it. Who
Thank you.
else would you learn? Would you like from Diane? Would you hear? Questions, comments, thoughts? Kind of cool, isn't it? And simple. All too often we try to make things complicated. Life doesn't have, it should be downstream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
I think we make it more complicated, right?
Yeah, I don't know if social media made us do that or somebody made us that we got to have we got to be something we're not to prove that we're something we can be. I'm not sure. I know. Funny thing is I listen to all of these great trainers and teachers that validate the things that I do. And people go, oh, you got that from them. I never heard of them.
Mhm.
It just means that truth is truth. And that when we get on our path, could I have been a lot farther along had I heard of a lot of the people that people say, oh my God, you're just like so-and-so. I never heard of them. So the greatest compliment I got was when Larry Thompson, the living soul who spent more time on stage with Jim Rohn than any other living person alive right now. He said to me one time in one of the Kyle Wilson masterminds, he goes, you are so much like Jim Rohn. He says, you speak, I hear Jim Rohn. I'm like, I never saw Jim Rohn live. I know I've listened to all of his stuff. He goes, no, there's just an essence. I said, well, that's probably the greatest compliment I could ever ask for. He says, and I mean it. He says, I love when you speak. Yeah, baby.
No, it's true. You do have something, Sean. That's why I'm still here. No, but it is. It's something that draws a person to you. And in my feeling is that you should be up there with the Jim Rohns and all those people, you know.
Well,
But
I'm
I'm so
waiting until I
grateful.
turn 60
Here.
and then I'll have the maturity on my side.
I'm just grateful that we have you and all that you're doing with us. That, it's certainly.
There will become a moment. I've had some visions and some things where it just goes from this to the 30-year overnight success.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that. I'll miss my sheep, but I'm okay with that.
You don't have to miss the sheep.
I won't, but I may be
You'll have to
traveling
come to
a little
you.
bit more. I'll bring them with me
Yeah.
in my rider. When we used to do in my rock and roll nightclub, some of the riders that some of these people had certain length towels and certain weave and all. And I'm like, oh my gosh, green M&Ms, it's ridiculous. I'm like, you're serious, right? And pay him $1,000 for the night. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. Who else? Thoughts, comment? Thank you, Diane. Thank you for letting me share and experience your wisdom. Who else? Thoughts, comments, questions? Any last thoughts, comments, questions?
Hello.
Hello, Selena.
When you were talking about auto suggestion, well, my phone died mid
Shocking.
conversation, right? And I was like, I can't miss this. Like you were really talking some powerful stuff, and then my phone died. But you were talking about auto suggestion.
Yep.
And today I did notice that I was having some negative auto suggestion thoughts, like
Really?
taking me back to the beginning of this year of like a negative place that I was in. And like those thoughts were coming back up. And I noticed the root of it, it came from scrolling on TikTok. And I really didn't like how it made me feel. So I spent a lot of time just breathing and affirming what I know. And like, I didn't mean to say that. What it made me realize was that some of the patterns have deep roots, and I want to really pull them out so I can come closer to my definite chief aim and my definite major purpose, because that's been like a battle for me. I feel like I'm in the battlefield discovering.
You want to hear the good news?
Yes, I do.
It had to go back to the beginning of the year to take you off your track. So
Yeah,
do you realize then for 6 months you've been on track? Based upon that, where it had to go to find the chink in your armor, it had to go back to the beginning of the year. And it went back to the beginning of the year and told you a what? A story.
Yeah.
That changed your state.
Yep.
That influenced your strategies. So when your story starts to change, go, oh my gosh, I read that book. What's new with it? Nothing. I can put that book down then. It's when you step into the unknown, the frontier, the newness of possibilities, of unlimited potential, that your brain gets tired. And it can't tell the story anymore of, I'm good with new. I like new. Tell me new. Tell me new. You've been having some good days. And you've been having better days than your average days. So therefore, you changed the identity. And it went back 6 months ago to find something to knock your legs out. You just say, oh, is that all you got? Is that what you went for? I love that you think that's going to take me off track. You literally have to say this stuff out loud, because otherwise it's happening at 13,000 words a minute in your mind. The imagery, the pictures, the stat, the brain's looking, will this kill me? How fast could I recognize the pattern? And since it thought you were going to die, your old story was going to die today. It said, oh, yeah, scrolling. Yeah, see, you suck at scrolling and you're horrible at it. And this, all of a sudden, it just went downhill. And you went, oh, no. How could you send me a no? Do you realize who you are? How could you ever send me? I guess you can send me a no. But I want your subconscious to hear, there's no way any of you could ever send me a no. I wasn't on my task. There's not a way you can. There is a way it happens because you step out of your own greatness. Sessa, fressa, riggedy, riggedy, raggedy, raggedy, rah, 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 rah. Aren't you the stuff? Say it. I'm the stuff.
I'm the stuff.
Yeah, I'm a yes, baby. We get to say these things to ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything I hope I bring to you, it's that physiology, focus, language, and meaning. It's this, when we move ourselves, when we get loud and we say, no, that's not, stop. And we break the pattern versus, Why do I have to deal with an addict? My mother was an alcoholic. My oldest brother was an alcoholic. My middle brother was addicted to approval out the yin and the yang. He lied as often as he could. They were white lies. But we were all addicts, and I'm sure I'm an addict. I just chose my addiction to have great days, which really ticks people off. It really does. Oh, here comes Mr. Happy. You're right.
And what
You need to-
about
Go ahead.
when you're having that momentum
Yeah.
and your days are getting really good and it's like compounding and you're noticing just the beauty of the work that you're putting in, but then you have that weird sense of like fear. Sorry.
You ever go to a Halloween haunted house?
Yes.
What do you think they're going to do there? Give you cookies and cream, or are they going to try to scare the skin off of you? They're going to try to scare you. Just make believe you're stepping into a haunted house when you're having the good days going, something's going to pop up. My subconscious, I can feel it. I am stepping into the house of horrors, and you're going to start to show up with something. I'm going to know. I know it's around the corner. The challenge is we don't accept that it's around the corner, and we think, oh, well, that shouldn't be there. It should be there. You're going into a haunted house. You're going into an identity shift. And if you know it has a potential to show up, see, the thing is that I don't expect it, but I have a program ready for when it does show up. If it shows up, it doesn't have to show up. I'll go for months without the gremlins showing up. But I've practiced enough that when they do, I know exactly what to say. And then I minimize the time I'm in that horror. That's why I use the phrase, isn't that fascinating?
It's interesting because I've had things in the physical world happen to me that were quote unquote unfortunate, but it didn't affect me. I was still high vibrational, grateful, attracting more amazing things. And then just the weird thoughts in my brain from TikTok like completely threw me off track so deeply. It was like when I was noticing it, I was like, wow, this is weird, this is scary, I don't like this. And it takes work. It took me time to get back to state.
Well, what you need to do when those moments happen, here's my secret. I send out text messages to everybody I love. Hey, I was thinking of your heart. I was thinking of you this. Here's your poop emoji, right? Why don't you have this in a sandwich, right? I'll just send out, and it'll be a copy and paste. I don't have time when I'm defending, when I'm fighting, when I am in a battle for my sanity. I have copy paste. I'll text the message out, copy paste, and I'll send it out 40, 50 times to some of the top, usually to the top leaders in network marketing. People who are all over the social media, and they're icons. They're the ones that cross the stage at the ANMP. They're all my friends. So I'll send it to them going, and they'll know, some of them know that I'm having a crappy day. And they respond with unbelievable love and honor and respect. And they tell me, you have changed my life. You're the reason I am where I am. And it's just these affirmations to remind me, I'm the shiitake. I'm freaking amazing. And sometimes I need the recognition to be reminded of how cool I am. And because I use that as a source, I can be ready for everybody that shows up in my world. How are you always available when I need you? Because I've cleared out the stuff that you don't need to listen to. And so people are calling on you. People are needing you. When this stuff shows up, you're not needable. You're not wantable. And so then that causes you to spiral. I can't imagine a moment that I don't have my Selena. I can imagine a moments when you've got lost on the trail, but I can't imagine a moment in my life right now that I don't have the ability to have you. Sucks to be you, but that's my story and I'm sticking to it. I can't imagine any of you. I can't imagine not having Wheezy available, or Roz, or Brad, or Diane, or Amber, or anybody. I can't imagine you guys not in my life. And I've had some people that have vacated my life. Okay, a little bit of a hole. I use that stuff that the guy who gets on the boat with the screen, the little John boat that's made out of screen and whatever it is, the patch stuff. I put a little patch on it and it leaks every now and then. It weeps every now and then. I fix up the patch. They hurt. But I'm not meant to hurt. That was my ego. And I move on. You weren't in my life at one time. Now I can't imagine you not being there. Why didn't you get here sooner?
Right?
So, and you do so much for this community. That's what I love. I love our one-on-one conversations. I love what you do when you speak in this community. Everybody is always, they look at your youth and they say she's wise beyond her years and thank you for the masterclass. And we're just showing up. Could you imagine a community of people that just show up for others and take them on their journey? Well, that would be crazy. Okay.
That was deep. Thank you.
You're welcome. I love it. And I agree with that, Diane. Yeah, they would say they're an old soul. I got in the car and Mason is listening to the oldies, or I forget what it was, the station's called Yesterday, but it's songs like from the 60s. I'm like, Mason, I love you. I know all of these songs. But he'll listen to Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, loves them, tells Alexa, play Dean Martin. And it's cool. So every one of you say I'm valuable. Every one of you say I'm worthy. You all have a gift to give. I love when I get to see you unwrap your packaging. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments, questions, takeaways?
Well, Selena brought that up, and Sunday night I had one of those nights I couldn't sleep, and I got this excruciating pain in my back.
Oh,
just kind of took over my whole night, and I didn't fall asleep till maybe 6 a.m. That's why I missed the call. And I just said to my grandson, I said, just let me sleep just another hour and I'll be okay. And then because I tried meditation, I tried all this stuff, and I moved from each room all through the night. And then around 4:30, I went in the bathroom, I just upchucked, and I'm not one to throw up. And it was like I let go of whatever. And then I settled down. I did some meditation and some reading and some writing, and then I went to bed.
that was some enemy stuff.
When
you throw up like that.
I said to my husband, I said, like I always, I said it was the devil, and he goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Sean would understand." He goes, "Yeah, Sean would understand." I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, that was the enemy. That was a detox. That was literally a clearing and a cleansing.
Oh my gosh. But it did a number on me. But thinking back now, looking at all the things that I'm doing to get all this stuff started and going and moving forward, yeah, that would explain it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Selena put purging. Yeah. Sometimes we gotta, it's and the body is amazing. The physiology of the body when it clears and cleanses, and it sometimes your sweat smells like different than you normally does. It's kind of crazy when we get rid of some of the stuff that's stuck in us. So,
Well, my feet were sweating and it was strange, really strange. My feet don't normally sweat.
no, they don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, that and the feet are one of the ways to get like essential oils and everything into the body fastest, right? Your feet and the wrist area, my mother used to put garlic in our socks when we would go to sleep, and you'd wake up tasting garlic. It was sucked going to school, eating, feeling like you ate garlic.
My mother used to rub Vicks on her feet.
Yes. Vicks and garlic. You talk about the
No, but no, it's
everything could be cured with Vicks.
oh man. And I even did some meditation like Dr. Joe, and I'm healthy and all that stuff.
Right.
And it's like, okay, none of this is working. And it was just like, oh, settle down. And then but it took me all night.
Wow. I would review that only for the fact of letting people know. See, when I talk to people about what I do, when I mentor them, I say, listen, I need you to be prepared for something in your body. I don't know what it is. I don't know if your stomach's a little easy or soft or whatever, whether you get, a little loose stool or something, but you're going to have a wellness crisis. And you're going to say, this doesn't work. And all I can tell you is that if you have something that's different in your body, it has to be working. There is a resistance at such a level that it's going to manifest through your body. That's how we get distracted. So, kind of cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, everyone. Anyone else? Any last thoughts, comments? We covered some big stuff. Anyone else? All righty then. Say goodnight, Michelle. I appreciate you. I'm your head brain training, brain scrambling, get your body purged misfit. I'll see y'all where?
At the next event.
At the next I'm so much lighter event. I'll see y'all in the morning. Thanks, everybody. Love you tons.
Thank you, Sean. Love you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Night,
Bye.
Michelle.
Good night.